Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah.
Melanated.
Welcome to another episode of Morning Tea, where we sit in our sleepwear and discuss current events. Today's tea is Earl Grey Creme with a little bit of milk in it by Tavana Tea. There's no tea in here, actually. So obviously, the setting is a little different. It's clearly not the morning. I've got one light blasting on me. It's because I filmed this earlier. However, the part that I wanted to talk about, which I'm going to talk about in this part, didn't record, and I thought it was recording, but it wasn't. The beginning part of this video is going to be me like this, and the rest of it is going to be what morning tea looks like. Okay, so let's jump right in. So what I want to say is rest in power to the people who died at Quebec City, the mosque in Quebec City. I think it was exactly a week ago today. Muslim men were in prayer at their mosque, and this crazy kid from the local university came in, and you know what, I'm not gonna say crazy kid, because really this is a grown-ass racist-ass white dude walked into this mosque and killed 6 people and injured a bunch more, scared little children half to death. He is a terrorist and he deserves everything that comes his way. His name is like Alexander Bisset or something, like whatever, it's not even important what his name is. The most important part is that he should be buried underneath the prison because he went to a holy place and started shooting based on things that people like Marine Le Pen, who is running for president of France, she's just like Donald Trump, and the fear-mongering and the craziness that he pushes through about Muslim people. And now you have a shooting at a mosque of people who are in prayer for their last prayer for the evening. I mean, it's just atrocious and it's gross. And anybody who supports any sort of ban on Muslims or negativity or hatred towards Muslims simply because a few people from their religion are crazy enough to want a jihad, a holy war, and they have wreaked havoc upon the Middle East, including the very same Muslims who are minding their own business. They have been affected by ISIS and all of the jihadists as well. And for you to think that under any circumstances, your country or your politicians or anyone siding and making it so that these people are uncomfortable and feel tread upon and feel like it's not good to be Arab or it's not good to be Muslim because of all the nasty rhetoric that is going around, you should be ashamed of yourself. People are dying. Muslim people are dying all over the world by the hands of crazies and more crazies, be it Christian crazies or Muslim crazies, okay? And no one deserves that. In the beginning, they actually thought it was 2 people involved in this shooting. They thought one of the persons was a Moroccan-born man. However, it was a case of not mistaken identity, but they thought that he might be the shooter at some point just because of the circumstances when the police got there. He actually got there right after shooting happened and called 911. Then when the police got there, he was so scared that he thought the police was one of the gunmen and went and ran. And the police, after they identified themselves as the police, got him to stop, and he fell to the ground and put his hands up in the air and all that good stuff. But wherever he landed, it was near the gun that was used for the shooting, and so the cops automatically assumed that he was a suspect and put his name out there. Now they've retracted it, which is so dangerous. And we have the real name of the person who committed it by himself, and he actually called the police and confessed and said he did it. So, like, you know, these crazies are willing to die just as the jihadist crazies are willing to die. They're willing to die and get caught for their nonsense. And it's so gross. It's so gross. So my heart goes out to the family of those people affected. And I just am really worried and scared, you know, because I think that anybody after the Charleston shooting is like, no one's safe. Like, these white boys do not care. They will go into your holy place and shoot you because they feel that you're some sort of threat. All right, on to our next one, and obviously a different outfit and a different time of the day. And thank you guys so much. I hope I'm in focus. Okay, at UC Berkeley, there was a gentleman, Milo something or other, who was supposed to speak, and he is an alt-right crazy, I shouldn't say crazy, he is an alt-right personality who was going to be saying a lot of controversial things, and he was invited to speak at UC Berkeley, and then there were protests about his speaking at UC Berkeley, and then there was a separate group of people who came off of campus dressed in all black, and they just started to protest and riot and break windows and do all kinds of things just to make it so that Milo didn't speak. Milo's speech was canceled due to this interruption. UC Berkeley immediately tweeted and sent out letters and emails saying how they did not support this violence. They did not support this group coming off campus to disrupt what's going on at UC Berkeley, and that UC Berkeley wants to provide a variety of speakers at their college so that their students can learn and their students can have lots of different viewpoints. And I kind of feel two ways about this. I understand someone's right to protest. I understand the group's right to protest against, people who are speaking out in ways that do not agree with. I kind of feel mixed feelings towards this. I think that yes, they should have been allowed to protest. I love the fact that they did go there and get Milo to not speak anymore. But then I also feel like, it's a college campus, and the speakers that go on to college campuses need to be a variety of different types of speaker. And perhaps Milo has an audience that, is going to be receptive to his speech. Now, I don't agree with what he's saying. I agree with his right to say it. But if someone stops him from saying it, then okay, it's like people are really confused about freedom of speech. Freedom of speech means that the government or any sort of body of power, they're not going to stop you from saying what you want. They're not going to stop you from printing what you want. But that doesn't mean that your colleagues can't. That doesn't mean that your colleagues won't. That doesn't mean that your peers, your colleagues, the people around you, that doesn't mean that other citizens won't and can't and don't have the right to try to get you to not speak. The government won't stop you from speaking. That's what freedom of speech is. Like, you have the freedom, but someone also has not the freedom nor the right to stop you, but they can. And often they do because they pose bodily harm. And that's what happened to Milo. So, what was UC Berkeley supposed to do? They weren't going to continue to have the speech and have these kids riot and do all this stuff that they did. So they stopped it for public safety, which makes sense. Do I agree with rioting so that, someone like Milo can't speak? No. But do I understand where those protesters were coming from? Yes. Did they do what they wanted? Did they get done what they intended to do? Yes. Freedom of speech be damned. Milo can say whatever he wants whenever he wants to say it, but sometimes people are going to stop him because they don't want him to say what he's going to say. And the institution can't do anything about it because they hired him, they booked him. He's going to get paid for the gig. So, freedom of speech, nothing. Yes, we all have the freedom of speech, but other people have the freedom to shut you down. And I really hope that everyone's okay from that attack. It's just so interesting. I never think of liberals being these kind of people, these just disruptors. And it's really interesting to watch the liberals freak out over this, which they should. I'm a liberal and I'm happy that they're doing it because that's not me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be out anywhere protesting, nothing. Okay, so in Romania, the Romanian government is under protest right now because they passed some sort of law that makes it so that politicians who got in trouble for corruption charges get sort of a leniency on their sentences, or there's leniency looked upon the verdict of whatever happens if they go to court for the crimes that they've committed. And the people of Romania are like, no. So there's been protests all week about it. And I think it's upwards to 500,000 people have shown up to protest against, this law being passed, or this sort of amendment being passed to go easy on politicians when they do things wrong in office. And so the government is having to really decide whether or not they want to go through with that, because the people are, rising up and are like, hell no, no, you guys don't get off on corruption charges easy. No, that's not fair. That's not right. You shouldn't do that. So go, people of Romania. Continue to protest. Keep your government in line. Okay, so this Muslim ban. So in the Ninth Circuit Appeals Court, this Muslim ban got there, and this judge, Robart, was like, no, this ruling is boo-boo. So basically what the Muslim ban does is it bars citizens of Muslim majority countries. I've already said this, but I'll say it again. Iraq, Syria, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen from entering the U.S. for 90 days. All refugees for 121 days, and indefinitely halts refugees from Syria specifically. So it's really intense. But there was a judge who was like, absolutely not. What did he say? Trump's executive order adversely affects residents in areas of employment, education, business, family relations, and freedom to travel. So, like, this judge is like, absolutely not. Like, you're not going to hold up the court and hold up these people all over the place for this nonsense. The Justice Department said the courts are particularly ill-equipped to second-guess the president's prospective judgment about future risks. Unlike the president, the courts do not have access to classified information about the threats posed by terrorist organizations operating in particular nations, the efforts of those organizations to infiltrate the United States, or gaps in the vetting process. So what the Department of Justice is saying is that the president is privy to information that the courts aren't privy to, and so for them to make a ruling to sort of stop the Muslim ban for now is wrong. They're ill-equipped. And I guess if you're scared of that, you could say that, but the vetting process of what happens to people who come into the United States is a lot. It's a long vetting process, especially those who are going through to get visas. And it's almost as though, like, Trump is making it seem like the doors are wide open, but it isn't. They aren't wide open. It's a long, like, 18-month process of interviews and filling out paperwork and background checks. Like, it's a huge deal. And to say that it's not working is false. It's false to say those things, and it's just fear-mongering. He's basically saying that the people who, especially who are in airports and who are diplomats and certain ranking positions, they're allowed to come over. And on Saturday, the Department of Homeland Security announced that it had suspended any and all actions to implement the immigration order and would resume standard inspection of travels as it did prior to signing the travel ban. After the Ninth Circuit decision on Sunday, the U.S. Embassy officials in Baghdad said that holders of valid U.S. visas, including Iraqi special immigrant visas, would be allowed to travel to the United States. So it's just kind of like he did this thing, and the courts are just fighting back and being like, no, like, you can't just make a blanket order. We have to like see how this is going to work. And so until it's more nuanced and still it's more specific, then we're just going to continue business as usual and like veto this executive order, sort of. Speaking of the U.S. president and his cabinet, Rex Tillerson became our new Secretary of State. Now, again, I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt and just say, like, let's see what happens. But Rex Tillerson is the CEO of ExxonMobil. His thing is he's super conservative, but he has dealt with a lot of foreign policy and when it comes to trade specifically, and when it comes to business, he's dealt with that. But as far as like when it comes to representing the United States, that remains to be seen because he's never been a politician before. As well as he's super buddy with Putin. Apparently, he's gotten by Putin the highest honor any civilian could get because of his dealings with gas and oil with Russia. So, like, as a private citizen, he's gotten an award from Russia, from Putin, for all that he's done in the gas and oil industry here and abroad. So, like, I mean, I don't understand why all of these ultra-conservative alt-right people aren't scared of Putin. Weren't we just in a Cold War? Most of these people who are like all buddy-buddy and like love to be Republican were alive during this Cold War business. Like, is no one else concerned? What I'm saying is, like, I don't care, right? But what I'm saying is, like, if this were a liberal cabinet, the conservatives would be crazy. If Obama was in bed with Putin, oh my God, everybody would be out of their minds, because it's the Republicans who are the ones that are stepping over these boundaries, and it's the conservatives who are ones who are buddy with Putin. It's okay. And they're fine. And the Tea Party isn't raising any flags. I'm like, where is the Tea Party right now? They hate immigrants. They hate Russians. And they for sure would not support this first lady. But apparently they are. For anyone to even think that there's some sort of controversy because of Chelsea Handler saying that, would she have an interview with Melania Trump? And Chelsea said, what will we talk about? She barely speaks English. And everyone's like not everyone, but all of like the Trump supporters and all those people are coming to her defense, Melania, saying that she speaks 5 languages. I would like to know why one of those 5 languages aren't English. Like, what 5 languages do you know that doesn't include English? I mean, I hate to make this about like Western culture, but like, if you're gonna learn 5 languages, how about you learn Mandarin, French, English, Spanish, and whatever your native language is. What other languages does she speak that are relevant? Like, who cares? Who cares if she speaks 5 languages? Is she gonna interpret? Can she like many I speak 5 languages. I understand a couple words in German. I understand a couple words in French. I understand a couple words in Spanish. I understand a couple words of what, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? You don't speak 5 languages, ma'am. You don't speak 5 languages and are just like a model and a mom and a trophy wife. Like, I want certification from people who speak the languages that she speaks to say, yes, she actually does speak this language. Because English for sure is not one of them. So if she speaks those other languages the way she speaks English, I'm not going to consider her having spoken 5 languages. Okay, so there's talk of making Jeff Sessions Attorney General, which would be really bad. So let's just wait. I'm not going to speak on Jeff Sessions because, like, I just need for it to happen first. Like, I don't want to jinx it and, like, talk about him and he get, like, something happens. Now let's go back to Marine Le Pen. So she is a far-right presidential candidate in France, and she's formally launched a campaign echoing many of the themes propelled by Donald Trump in the White House. So there is a female Donald Trump running for president in France. I am going to keep us up to date on this girl because I want to know. I just don't understand how conservatives like think that they're right. They're so mean. That's all I can think of. It's like people who like, you're so mean and you're so selfish. But I don't want to think that. Like, I want to think that they're, you know, regular people just like me. I'm going to tell you guys about Marine Le Pen later because, like, she's so Trump, but, like, she might even be serious, you know, because Trump's not serious. Trump's not even serious about being Trump. All right, so there was also a women's march, and people were asking me how I felt about the women's march last month, and, like, I just, like, you know, I don't care. I mean, I'm glad these people got out there and do it, and I felt like it was really important for women who feel like they're women first, but I feel like I'm black first and woman second, and so, like, having a women's march is kind of like, okay, like, for those people who need it, you know, for sure, for those women who need to, who want to feel empowered as a woman and support other women, like, I support that. I wasn't gonna go out to it, like, it wasn't my thing, you know, but power to the women, you know what I'm saying? Alright, so that's it, you guys. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave a comment down below, and I will see you in next week's episode of Morning Tea. Thanks. Bye.